Republicans in Congress are bringing back a federal bill called the Safeguard American Voter Eligibility Act, otherwise known as the SAVE Act, which is a federal proposal that would mandate documentary proof of U.S. citizenship, such as passport or birth certificate, for voter registration in federal elections, as well as a government-issued photo ID to cast a ballot. And of course, it's being met with backlash from Democrats. Now, the bill has previously passed the House, and GOP leaders, including President Trump, are advocating for its enactment ahead of the 2026 midterms to protect the integrity of elections. However, the bill is facing significant obstacles in the Senate, where Democrats are using procedural tools like the filibuster to block its progress, making near-term passage highly unlikely. Democrats argue that this kind of federal ID and citizenship requirement would actually suppress voter turnout, especially among groups like low-income voters, women, young people, and racial minorities, many of whom which might not have these necessary documents. In a recent CNN interview, Dana Bash asked House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries about his opposition to the SAVE Act, citing a Pew Research poll indicating that 83% of Americans and 71% of Democrats support requiring an ID to vote. And Jeffries claimed that the GOP effort is an attempt to rig elections.
First of all, every state is empowered to be able to make the decision on their own, and we completely and totally support that. What Donald Trump wants to do is try to nationalize the election. Translation, steal it. And we're not going to let it happen. We stopped them in terms of their gerrymandering efforts, where they were going to try to redraw congressional maps in red states throughout the nation, not expect Democrats to respond forcefully, and try to rig the midterms. They failed.
Last week, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer also opposed the SAVE Act, comparing it to Jim Crow-era restrictions, and vowed to block the vote in the Senate. He echoed Jeffries' concern that Republicans are trying to nationalize elections.
I want to be very clear. The SAVE Act is dead on arrival in the Senate, and every single Senate Democrat will vote against any bill that contains it. The SAVE Act is nothing more than Jim Crow 2.0.
Defending the bill, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt emphasized that the SAVE Act would ensure that only U.S. citizens participate in federal elections.
The SAVE Act directs states to remove non-citizens from their voter rolls, and we know in states across the country the president is right to point this out. In states like California or in places like New York City, non-citizens are allowed to vote in state and local elections.
What do you think? Should voters be required to show an ID before casting a ballot? Let us know below in the comments.